and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jane. I'm a personal trainer based in New York City. And today is a very exciting day. I feel like I say that at the beginning of every video, but today is actually a very exciting day because I am collaborating with my friend Justina. I've talked about her countless times on my YouTube channel, and she's also been on the podcast. So some of you may already be familiar with her, but if you're not, definitely go check her out. Justina is such a great source of information. She takes the crazy world of health and fitness and she explains it all in such a digestible way. Why can't I say that word right now? In such a digestible way. So if you haven't already checked her out, please go do that, especially if you love like follow along workout videos as well as review videos. She does a ton of those. So we decided to take each other through the entire personal training experience from consult to assessment all the way to the first workout. So we started the consult by just talking about like my current goals and any roadblocks that we have. So here's a little taste of what that looked like.
Perfect. So basically, thank you for filling all of that stuff in. I know again, like some of it doesn't really relate to what we're doing, but it just gives me a little bit better idea, not only of where your goals are, but also where your current kind of everything is. So the first thing I want to jump right to is just the 3 goals that you set for yourself. So I just want to get a little bit more specific and also make sure that I am on the same page as you with those goals. So you said just improving your overall health, increasing your strength with limited equipment, and being a little bit more consistent. So talk to me a little bit more about the first goal, just your overall health. What does that mean to you?
So I don't have any like specific body goals. My goal is always just to be like moving, to be moving in like a way that feels good to me, and really more of like focusing on the longevity of all of it.
Training for the long term, right? So training to make sure that we can do very basic things like sitting and standing, getting out of bed, off of the floor. Does that all kind of sound right?
Yeah, definitely.
So like I said, my main goal is always to work for my health. I'm always looking at the long term, thinking about longevity. I want to feel good not only today, but in 10 years and 20 years and 30 years, all of those things. But a big issue that I'm having is working out at home during the pandemic. So I only have 1 kettlebell and a pair of dumbbells, and sometimes I just get a little bit bored with my workouts. I do have the option to go to a gym. I work at a gym, but I'm just not as busy there as I used to be, and I don't want to make the trek all the way to the gym every single day to be working out. Even someone who works in fitness has a hard time coming up with new exercises and ways to keep it interesting, which is why I'm such a strong believer that trainers need trainers.
Just moving into, I want to know a little bit more about the type of movement that you're doing. So I know you checked off a lot of things: cardio, stretch, Pilates, strength. Just talk to me more about what exactly that looks like for you.
So I put cardio because I walk my dog. So I don't really do like running or anything like that, but I do walk Harley probably like 3 times a week. As far as like my strength workouts, I follow just like my at-home program because it's already like done, so I don't have to like program again. Functional movement, body weight, or dumbbells only. You kind of know like my workout style, so it follows in that kind of world. I just started doing Pilates with Margaret, actually. I just follow her YouTube videos. They're like 20 minutes long, which is perfect for me. And I've been doing that on like Tuesday, Thursday mornings as more of like an active rest, because they're only like 20 minutes.
So no injuries, nothing hurting, feeling weird?
No, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, wait till you interview me.
So then we just talked more about my likes and dislikes and what I want to see in a program. I know Justina preaches this all of the time, and I do too. If you don't like it, you won't do it, okay? So if you don't like your workouts, to me, they are just immediately ineffective, and I know Justina feels the same way. I've heard her say that too. So I love that she asked me about this. It made me just feel like she actually cared about, how I enjoyed the program. It wasn't just about like getting me to this goal, but it was also equally about enjoying the process of getting there, which is such an important part of working out, because if you don't like it, like, what's the point, you know?
So yeah, this is pretty much like everything that I need. So, obviously we're working with very limited equipment. Nothing can really mimic deadlifting 70 pounds, unfortunately. But we're gonna do our best to still keep in those movement patterns that we really like, because as you know, it is the best way just to create that longevity with our movement. So that is pretty much it. Any questions or anything else that you want to ask me about before we flip it?
No, I'm excited.
And I love that we just had this consultation first just to sort of talk through all these things, so I didn't feel like I was kind of going into this workout being like, okay, what are we doing, you know? So it just gave me a better sense of what Justina worked like who she was as a trainer, because like I know Justina as like my friend, but it's a little bit different when you work with someone in that capacity. So it was really nice to just have that initial meeting, you know, just to feel a little bit more comfortable before we dove in. So let's move on to day 2, where we actually did the workout.
So I know that one of your goals, and this is like something that I've been dealing with so much with my clients too, is progressing and getting stronger with very limited weights. So we're gonna focus a lot today. It's gonna feel very like stability driven, but a lot of it is gonna be like single side work. So usually we're gonna do a circuit of 5 exercises. I would usually do this 4 times through, so each side we're doing twice, but we're just gonna do it 1 time each side.
Justina and I do both of our assessments at the end of the consult, but this was also the day that my puppy got spayed, and then we like got the go ahead to go pick her up. So we were like, let's just do the assessments on the other day, because like I had to go pick up my puppy. I was a nervous dog mom, but she did so well, and now her like surgery is done, like her recovery time is completely done. We love her so much.
We're actually gonna go through 4 in each direction, super slow. So we'll start with the feet just about shoulder width apart. You can take a slight turn out if you want. Arms are gonna be straight up, right next to your ears. So make sure that you can still see them in your eye line. And then we're gonna send the hips back, keeping the chest lifted, and then drive into the heels, coming all the way back up. Working super slow, trying to get as much range of motion as you can.
We started off with an overhead squat. Justina said that we were looking for mobility in my hips and shoulders, as well as stability in my knees, making sure that I'm not buckling the knees in at any point, seeing how low I can go in my squat, and am I able to keep my arms by my ears the entire time. I've been working on my squat pattern for the last couple of years, trying to get better at it. I come from a dance background. Squats in dance, like plies, and then squats when you have weight are 2 very different things. So I was really happy when Justina told me that I passed with flying colors. Next, we moved into a hip hinge complex so that we could test that hinge pattern.
So we're gonna start, it's basically just a good morning. Hands are gonna be across the chest. We're gonna send the hips back, like we're trying to close a corridor with our butt, and then we come back up. Then we're gonna elevate the hands up by the ears, hips back, and up. Last one, hands up in a Y position, hips back, and up. And then we're gonna do the same thing facing the front. I'm really just, and then hands up by the ears, yep. I'm really just making sure, number 1, that people understand a proper hip hinge, because it is shockingly hard for a lot of people. So making sure, good Jane, that they can shift the hips back rather than leading from the knees. And then I'm just seeing where their core control starts to break down. So what I'm looking for is that rib cage flare, or that pelvic tilt. So here is obviously going to be the simplest for people. Once we start to elevate the hands up, we start to usually get a little bit of rib cage flare. And then up here, I'm looking from the front also too, are those upper traps getting involved. So I'm also looking for how much control they have in like the rhomboids, mid and low traps.
I love that.
Thanks.
I'm feeling that.
I love also that at the end of every assessment or every movement, Justina was explaining exactly what she was looking for, really breaking it down for me, letting me know that what we're doing has a purpose and that it's going to affect the rest of the program. I felt like I was actually able to learn while we were going through just these 3 simple movements, which is so important in personal training especially. I think that education is one of the most valuable parts of personal training. And then we finished off with push-ups.
All right, push-ups.
Love it. Knew it was coming.
We'll do 3. I'll be just as nice to you as you were to me. Beautiful. Perfect.
Overall, the assessments were really fun. I felt like it was a really great way to sort of see how Justina works when it comes to movements. When we're talking, you don't really know how someone works as a coach. So it was nice to actually see like how she worked as a coach, that we can sort of tune into each other before we dove into the actual workout. So the day that we filmed, I had literally been sitting at my desk all day, so we went through quite a lengthy workout, which is fantastic, especially if you're like working at a desk where you haven't moved that much. Warm-ups are so important just to not only get your body moving, but to also like get your mind in a space where you can actually be working out. The warm-up that we did was just as specific to the workout as it was to me. So not just me as a person, you know, hitting any weak spots that I have, anything like that, but also being so specific to me on any given day. For example, I told her that I had been sitting for most of the day, so we worked on a lot of hip mobility, opening it up, because I just sat around at a desk all day. So we spent a pretty good amount of time warming up my hips because again, I had been sitting all day, and warming up the core, because when we're sitting, we're not really using our core too much, especially in like the chair that I have, because I have armrests, okay, so I'm always leaning. Not the best habit, but you know, what you're gonna do. My favorite thing that we did was that towards the end, we actually worked on bird dogs. Such an underrated core exercise. We did this whole workout with kettlebells, which are all about core, using your momentum, having that mind-body connection. And I feel like bird dogs do such a great job of warming all of that up, especially if you really slow it down and you try to move everything at the same time. And on top of all of that, we were doing a lot of single leg work. And so bird dogs are also really great to get those opposite arms and opposite legs talking to each other. Sometimes we let our like left side and right side just disassociate, as well as like our upper body and lower body. So bird dogs are great because they take all these different parts of your body and bring them all together in a way that forces them to communicate to each other. Again, which is a perfect warm up for kettlebells especially. I love that we were changing directions a lot too, because that's a really easy way to get your heart rate up. This is like a pro tip, but if you don't have a lot of time to work out, give yourself like 3 exercises that change directions. So like be doing one that's maybe something back and forth, something that's side to side, something that's rotational, because when you change directions, it forces your brain to work harder and it's gonna get your heart rate up. So you can get a pretty good workout in by just doing a few movements that are changing directions. And then for this, I also just think that like changing directions in a warm up is so important, because again, it gives you that mind-body connection. Your brain has to work a little bit harder to understand that we're changing directions every single time. So now we're jumping into the workout, and I'm gonna let Justina talk about all of the different exercises.
We're gonna do 5 exercises. Our magic number today is gonna be 10, but usually we would do 4 rounds of this, we're only gonna do 2, so 1 on each side. So we're gonna start with a single arm clean into a squat. So we're gonna bring it down, keeping the chest lifted, reaching under for that kettlebell, swinging it to the outside. I know that form was not amazing. And then we're gonna squat it down, up, and then I want you to hinge to put it back down. All right, so it's a squat to bring it up, give me a squat in between, and then a hinge to bring it down.
Okay, so I'm cleaning it up.
Squat it down, and then hip hinge, put it back down. Beautiful, same arm. That's it, beautiful. How'd that feel? Good, that's what we want, challenging. You know, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel with a lot of these, but you are gonna notice we're putting like 2 planes of motion or 2 very basic movement patterns together just to keep ourselves challenged. And we're gonna come for a single leg RDL with a row. We're going to hinge it forward, pause here, row, and then come back up.
I'm falling and dying.
I always say, like, anytime we do single leg RDLs, the first 2 and the last 2 are gonna be a hot mess. 1 more.
My hamstrings are crying.
There you go, good, let it go, let it go. So, right hand, right leg out. We're gonna come down into a windmill, and then back up to center. Exactly. Try not to sit your hips back as you're coming up. I really want you to push that lateral extension. Aim for that left hand a little bit more in front of the knee. There you go. All right, we're gonna go for some elevated push-ups. So you're gonna take your kettlebell, sorry, you can't really see it. You're gonna flip it down. So the weight of it is gonna be toward you. We're gonna place our right hand on top, and we're gonna go for 10 push-ups. So this is really gonna push your range of motion, single side. Take your time. Yep, there you go, she's already off. Good. Woo, good, let it go. Final exercise here.
Oh, great.
So you're gonna take it into the right hand, and we're doing a single arm hollow hold. So you're gonna hold the dumbbell right above the chest, or sorry, the kettlebell right above the chest. Opposite arm is back behind you. Yep, go for it. Clock starts when you do. And I like to keep my focus on the kettlebell. Just lengthening that cervical spine. You got it. 3, 2, and 1. Let it go. Last squat of the day.
Yeah!
And whenever I say that, people are like at the bottom of their range of motion.
At least for me, it's really hard to push myself when I'm working out alone. If I don't have someone there, whether it's a trainer or a friend or just anything, I have such a harder time motivating myself to actually do it. So that was just one thing that I really noticed throughout this whole session, was just how much more I was able to push myself, because I think like A, I was enjoying it more, and B, I had someone giving everything that I was doing a second look. Not only like cheering me on, but also being able to point out anything that I was doing wrong, you know? Once I was getting tired, if my core was going, Justina was there to catch that, let me know, and then give me some words of encouragement to finish the number of reps that we had set out to do. Because, you know, sometimes if you're like aiming for 10 and you get to 8 and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do 2 more. So you kind of, you know, sometimes at least I will just stop. So having someone there that's like, no, 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 take a little break, we are getting to 10, is always just so nice to have that extra push, because we can do so much more than we think we can, but like mentally we've already checked out. So then we ended with this finisher, which was just like a quick way to get that final drop of fuel out of your system. And Justina mentioned that she normally does the same one for the whole month, so they keep the same thing for the entirety of the program, which is such a cool way to be able to track your fitness. Like if I did this once a week, every week, I could see how it got a little bit easier every week. And to me, those are just the things that I find really motivating, is actually like seeing or feeling those results in real life. And by doing the same thing every week, you can definitely see that. That's why I think just programs in general are the way to go, because it's such a great way to like actually see that your endurance is getting better, that you're getting stronger, that your stability is getting better, all of those things. So that's why I would always, always, always recommend a program.
Yeah. All right. Nice job.
Hey,
How do you feel?
good. That was so great. I think like before quarantine, I was like really into kettlebells, and then I got kind of burnt out on them. So I haven't actually picked up my kettlebell in a long time.
Oh.
That was great, because I feel like that's like some new moves that I can add in.
Yeah.
It reminded me that like, oh yeah, I really like working with kettlebells.
So I just wanted to finish off with some final thoughts. Justina is fantastic. She's a great trainer. Again, what I think is the most valuable part of personal training is the education that you get with it, and not just general information, but information and education about your body, what exercises you should do and what you should stray away from, because not all exercises fit every person. You know, we're not supposed to fit any program or diet or exercise. Those things are supposed to fit us. So I think having someone that can give you that second opinion, that second look, or introduce you to new ideas. I had never done most of these exercises, and even some of them I've done like part of. Like I know how to clean and I know how to squat, but I don't normally put them together like that. Keeps things interesting, keeps things fun, and just reminds you that like working out is supposed to be interesting and fun. We're supposed to have fun with our health and fitness. I'm a strong believer that personal training can benefit literally anyone. Even trainers need trainers. There's never a point with your health and fitness that it's like, okay, you've learned everything you need to know and that's it. It's always evolving. There's always new information coming out, and you can always learn more from other people. So I had a blast doing this. If you are interested in training with Justina or taking any of her classes, I highly recommend it. I've taken her class before and it's so much fun. Again, I just like love the way that she teaches, because she actually teaches. It's not just like, and do a squat. You know, like she's gonna tell you why we're doing a squat. She's gonna tell you how to do a squat best for your body. If you wanna learn more about Justina or myself, you can check out the description box below. Make sure you're subscribed to both of our channels and follow us on Instagram for lots of fun educational content. And I will see you all in my next video.